What a Catch, Part 22, a Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. If you have not heard the previous 21 parts of this story, you can find a link to them in the description box below. In the meantime, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and hit the bell for more fanfiction. Adrien sat down at a table beside a window, shuffling the invitation between his hands. It was the same kind of print Ladybug would like, red and black spots, and his curiosity was getting the better of him. Why did Nathalie have it? Why was she delivering it to Marinette? Why had she passed it on to him instead of delivering it herself? Why did he need to keep that it was from her, a secret? It felt like the last week had produced more questions than he had in his lifetime. "You just had to get married, didn't you, Nino?" he muttered sarcastically. Here he thought he'd be showing up for his best friend's wedding, not figuring out identities while protecting his Miraculous. Not that he'd trade the situation for the world. The few moments he had with Ladybug this week was worth it, even though he only had 2 more days left. One night with her tomorrow, then the fight with Hawkmoth the following day. It seemed as though his story was coming to an end, without a catch. He looked up as Nathalie slid onto the bench across from him, her hair tidied up after the ride in the wind, and felt his heart squeeze. He had been wrong about Sabine Chang. She wasn't his stand-in mother. Nathalie was. "What's wrong?" she asked, noticing the sharp breath he took. I've missed you," he smiled, attempting to cover up how shaken he was by that last thought. Nathalie was the closest person to home, aside from Ladybug. And here he was, about to share a pizza with her 2 days before his demise. "If this were a superhero comic," he thought to himself, "this is when the mentor would drop a truth bomb on me that gives me enough clarity to save the day." "Are you okay?" she asked. "You seem a little worn." "Yeah, there's just a lot on my mind." "What's going on? Is it New York?" "No, it's more like a side hustle." "Intriguing. Do go on." "It became my hobby over the years, but it looks like I'll have to give it up, and soon." "Your hobby? And what would that be?" Parkour?" "Parkour? As in free running?" "Yeah, jumping from building to building and pretending to be a video game character. I'm getting a bit old for it, don't you think?" Adrien felt a blush beginning to spread across his cheeks. Was that the best lie he could come up with? Really? "Adrien," she said, intertwining her fingers and leaning forward on their table. "Are you in danger?" Her boldness took him off guard. "Danger?" He swallowed, racking his brain for where he had gone wrong. How did she know? "What do you mean?" "I can tell when you're lying, Adrien. Even the little white lies." The silence between them, choked with the sounds of the restaurant, threw off Adrien's focus. He couldn't think straight, so how could he possibly respond? Nathalie had called him out. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "Adrien," she said, reaching out to brush the hair out of his eyes. "Leather isn't the only mask you wear." His blood froze at her words while his heart warmed up. He was scared and exhilarated at the same time. How long had she known? Nathalie, I can't help you if you don't let me. I don't want anything to happen to you. I won't let it. He shuddered at her stern tone, remembering all of her lectures about sneaking out when he was a teenager. When had those stopped? When she found out he was Cat Noir? Does that mean she's known all of these years that was Paris's superhero? How long have you known? He asked. Long enough to see how it burdens you. Her words struck a chord with him. Burden? The suit was anything but that. It was liberating. It was part of his personality. No, he whispered. It's not a burden. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. It's not a burden. It's my identity. Do you think Ladybug would agree with that? Nathalie didn't pull any punches. That's for sure. What do you mean? Unlike you, Ladybug can be herself with or without the mask. Why, the work she did as a civilian thus far is rather stunning. She continued to be true to herself even after Hawkmoth disappeared, Nathalie said, taking a slice of pizza from the tray the server set in front of her. You know who she is? He dropped the glass he had reached out for, spilling water across the table, but he didn't react to that. Nathalie knew who Ladybug is? She went to school with you, and has been a friend for quite some time. He knew that she was a schoolmate of his, but if she had met Nathalie, then it must have been a closer friend. It couldn't possibly be her, could it? I need to make a phone call, he said, standing up and running outside. He raised the cell to his ear with a dry mouth as the rings passed, and he heard the click of the receiver. He had gone to voicemail. The person you are calling is not available at this time. Please leave your name and number after the beep. Hey, he shuffled, biting his lip. It's Adrien. Do you want to get lunch tomorrow? Let me know. We could get those parfaits you like. Just let me know. His hands were shaking by the time he hit the end call button on his phone. Did he want this? If she's Ladybug, would it work out between them? She was one of his first friends. Despite their awkward first meeting, he didn't want to lose the innocence in their relationship. He made eye contact with Nathalie through the glass. It was time to go inside. It was time to tell her everything. Thank you so much for listening. Part 23 will be available shortly. In the meantime, you can check out the videos below for more fanfiction. I'll catch you next time.